What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Off the Cliff Show, hosted by 14th and Market Podcast Network. Is it hosted by? Presented by 14th and Market Podcast Network. Back with another episode. Sixers played the Milwaukee Bucks last night. Today's episode, we're going to talk about obviously the game last night. I'm going to try to not talk about Tobias, but I kind of have to talk about him in the grand scheme of the actual game. So we'll talk about him. Paul Reed had a good game. People are starting to receive their Tyrese Maxey giveaway shirts. So if you are listening and you are receiving those shirts finally, please post it, tag me. I will repost it. We'll talk about the referees in the NBA from last night as well. Also, if you are listening, I'll be trying to stay seated. Yeah, but not seated but straight. But if you're listening, what I need you to do, or listening or watching, what I need you to do if you're watching on YouTube, hit that subscribe button right now. It's below. It's free. Like the video. And if you are listening to on Spotify and or Apple Podcasts or wherever you're listening to, please rate the podcast 5 stars or the show 5 stars, and also subscribe as well. Helps me out, supports me. It's free, like I said. So give you a second to do that. And with that second, here's the intro. All right, so last night, Philadelphia 76ers played the Milwaukee Bucks, losing to them 105-114. It's a pretty good game for the first 3 quarters. Sixers were shooting out of their minds. They were playing great defense, and it kind of went back to what I said last episode about they have to change their identity of what type of team they want to be. They have to be this gritty, grimy team that really focuses on defense and doesn't allow the other player, the opponent, to score, which they were doing for like the first 3 quarters. The Bucks could only really get up 3-point shots. I think they weren't shooting that well from 3. Let me see, 3-point percent. They shot 48% last time, but I think in the first half they weren't shooting that well from 3. Or that's all they could hit. The Sixers were collapsing on defense, making sure they couldn't get to the paint, especially with Giannis. Paul Reed had a really good game guarding Giannis. I think Paul Reed, everybody had a good game guarding Giannis tonight. Giannis ended the game with his stat line's not going to show. Yeah, he had 32, 11, and 7, but the stat line's not going to show. Sixers were playing pretty good defense on him. He got to the line 18 times, so that should show you he wasn't really. He was 9 for 12 from the field. Yeah, so they didn't really shoot a lot. What is going on outside? I don't know if y'all can hear that. It was honking outside. Yeah, 9 to 12 from the field. Didn't really shoot a lot because, like I said, the Sixers were collapsing on defense, building a wall, making sure he couldn't get on out on the fast break and drive. Really good defensive game from Paul Reed. I want to talk about him first. He's becoming off the bench. He's becoming obviously the Sixers' best center. Mo Bamba's just out there just so Paul Reed can have a more solidified role because he plays way better when he comes off the bench. But Paul Reed is slowly turning himself into a rim protector. And that's what I like the most from. I thought they was arguing outside, but that's what I like most from this Paul Reed, I guess, progression or resurgence from him with Joel Embiid out. He's, like I say, he's becoming a better rim protector. He's quick enough and athletic enough to stay in front of the guards on the wing. He often does not ask for help, even when he had to guard, I think, Kyrie in space versus the Mavs. Like, he waved off the help. He doesn't want it. So he's really aggressive. He's been really aggressive on the defensive and offensive rebounds, or the offensive and defensive boards. I don't know why that sounded so weird in my head, but yeah, man, I like what I've seen from Paul Reed these last couple of games. Tonight, only 3 points, but 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. He only had I don't know, but he had the one play where he got a steal in the Bucks half court, got a steal, dribbled to the 3-point line, looked around, and was like, "Oh, I'm open," and shot it and hit a 3. And I was like, I guess, but he's getting a really good feel of when to do things like that and when not to. Before, he was just like this really sporadic player who would like look for his own shot at the wrong time, do way too many dribble moves for his size, try to put up like a finesse layup of some sort. But he has stopped doing that. Like I said, he has become really in control of himself. He knows when to take these threes, when not to, when to really lock in on defense. So that is something that I have appreciated from Paul Reed in this stretch run from the Sixers. They're not winning a lot of games, but like I said previously, they're not good enough to win games against the Bucks, the Knicks, and the top teams of the East, and like the Celtics. They're just not good enough without Joel right now. When he comes back, the Sixers are when you see it and you look at them, they are a very good team, a team that could possibly beat anybody if Joel comes back healthy and has enough time to get in rhythm. But right now, they just don't have the firepower to keep up. Other than Maxey tonight, only 3 other Sixers were in double figures, and you kind of can't count Tobias Harris because he got, I think, like he had 6 points prior to the fourth quarter. And then like late in the fourth quarter when the game was pretty much decided, he scored the rest of his points. He ended with 15. Kyle Lowry had 12. Cam Payne had 13. So, they just don't have the firepower. Tyrese Maxey had 30. He had one of his heater games. Wanted a little bit more from him in the fourth quarter, but what the Bucks were doing defensively were they were just trying to get the ball out of his hands by any means. So they would blitz him, they would hedge the screen, they would trap him, they would do whatever they needed to do to get the ball out of his hands. And the Sixers offense right now is really like strictly if Tyrese Maxey can't make something happen, like in an ISO situation or off a screen, they don't really have an offense, and that's one of the issues with the Sixers right now. I saw Keith Pompey said they miss Harden, which they don't specifically miss Harden. I get where he's coming from. Like Harden would set up the offense, but then again, Harden would have the ball in his hands for 17 seconds of the shot clock and basically do what Maxey is doing. But Maxey has like a deeper bag at this stage of his career than Harden does right now. So yeah, man. They just, like I said, they just don't have enough offensive firepower. Kelly Oubre with 9 points, Mbamba with 5, Paul Reed 3, Batum 5. Seems like Batum has not hit an open 3 in a month. Buddy Hield with 9. He had 3 threes. They just, last night when Maxey just needed someone else to step up, someone else to score 15, someone else to score 18 to 20 points. They just couldn't do it because of the Bucks defense. And the Bucks were pretty much like, okay, we're just going to get the ball out of Maxey's hands, and we're just going to free fall and play one-on-one with everybody else. And then we're just going to force the Sixers to make decisions. And if that decision maker is not Tyrese Maxey, then we are happy with it. So that's just what the Bucks did, and it frustrated. They did it earlier. I think about 2 weeks ago when they played the Sixers as well. They just blitzed Maxey and made the other Sixers make decisions, and that's just something that the Sixers, the strength they just don't have right now. They don't have somebody else that you can guarantee a bucket consistently. Kelly Oubre was playing very well for the past 4 or 5 games, but then fell off here. He only had 9 points. I think he was averaging about 18 to 20 points prior to this. Over the last 5 games. But yeah, I'm not really concerned because like I had no expectation. I said it on the last episode. I had no expectation of them winning this game versus the Bucks because like I said, they can't compete with them right now without Joel. So it was just little silver linings. Maxey just figuring out how to score and score efficiently against these elite defenses. He was 12 or 23 tonight, shot 52% from the field. 5 and 9 from 3, hit his first 5 threes, which was really dope to see. Why is this? He only shot 3 free throws, and that's enough. That leads perfectly into what I want to get to. Tyrese Maxey, an all-star in the NBA, has probably the worst whistle I have ever seen in the NBA. I'm going to be showing clips here under this because I'm going to cut this into a short, but he had about 4, 5, 6 layups to where he was clearly fouled. Like there were people grabbing his arms, there were people bumping into him. There was one where Brook Lopez just like kind of sandwiched him and had his arm over his hand, but had his hand on his hip. And Maxey just could not get a call. And when he has to fight like that every single night, is going to eventually take a toll on his body. I don't know what he has to do to get a call. I'm pretty sure I was an advocate of the Sixers have to send in these clips of him getting fouled and let the NBA know that he is not getting the calls that he deserves. And I'm at this point, I'm pretty sure the Sixers have probably sent in every clip they can. My theory is that the Maxey isn't getting these calls because he's on the team with Joel Embiid. And we know how many free throws Joel Embiid ends up getting, ends up averaging throughout the games. Oh my God, why did I just mess it up? We know how many games Joel Embiid ends up getting when he plays. So I think it's just a product of playing on a team with someone who consistently draws that many free throws. I had the same problem with Harden last season. They weren't giving Harden calls, even though Harden grifts a lot. It was a lot of calls where he clearly got fouled, and the refs just refused to call it. Joel has not played in almost 2 months, so I don't know why that decision, like why that factor would factor into it. But I think they're just trying to set a precedent or set a standard to where, okay, when he comes back, you need to, you're still not getting these calls, and it's like, I get it, but like I don't really get it. Just call the game how it's being called. If he is getting fouled, call the fouls. It should not matter that you have a prolific free throw drawer, or I don't even know how to say it, or a prolific player who can draw free throws on one end, and you can't give a person who can arguably draw the same amount of free throws as Joel, and you're just not giving him the calls because of the product of one. So I honestly, I don't know what he has to do. He has the worst whistle in the NBA. Like I said, it's very annoying to watch because like he's getting assaulted at the rim and there's no whistle being called, and he's visibly angry and he's visibly like throwing his arms up. Like, bro, what do I have to do? One thing I like, he doesn't really talk to the refs a lot. After these calls, I guess like they told him like, bro, you're not getting that call, I guess, and he's just over it. But I would just love to see him like get a tech, bro, because it's getting ridiculous. It's annoying. At one point, like I said, my theory was like he wasn't getting the calls because Joel, but this is like he on some of these foul calls he could potentially be getting hurt, and that's what's frustrating me the most because like if he gets hurt on one of these because defenders think they have all get off and all right to foul Maxey and hit him and touch him up more than they can do other players, then and get away with it, then they're just going to continue to do it. And if he ends up getting hurt, that's going to be on the refs in the NBA on how they're officiating the game. And even at the end of tonight's game, they're officiating Maxey one way, but then Giannis can drive and he can't get touched. If you touch Giannis on a drive, it's an automatic foul. He's going to the line. Like tonight, he shot 18 free throws. And the clips you just saw of me putting Maxey, of the clips you just saw of Maxey getting fouled, and the clips that I should show of Giannis getting fouled, they're two completely different fouls. So, and even at the end of the night game, last night's game, Giannis clearly travels on a spin move versus Mo Bamba. And the entire Sixers bench, everybody on the floor, is given like the travel signal, and the refs call Mo Bamba for a foul. Who's calling me? Oh, they called Obama for a foul and just completely ignored that Giannis walked. And it's like, what are we doing? If Giannis was officiated the right way, he'd be a completely different player, but he's not He's allowed to just run into players, lower his shoulder like it's football, and run halfback dive. I don't understand it. But if Maxey goes to the rim and gets punched in the face, there's no way, nobody, it's not a call. There's no call. I don't understand. I don't get it, bro. Oh my God. It's so frustrating to watch. You're at this point, I thought once he got the All-Star nod, Maxey would start getting his All-Star calls. He has not since the All-Star break, and is so annoying to watch. Oh my God. I don't know what he has to do to get a call, bro. 34 and 4, and he shot 3 free throws. If he shot the correct amount of free throws last night, he would have ended with 45 plus. 45 plus easily. I don't know what they have to do. Ricky Council, another DMP. Whatever. We all know what's going on with that in the politics. But Brook Lopez, 19 points last night. Dame with 17 and 9. Brook Lopez has turned himself into a prolific 3-point shooter in his careers. And when I think last night they said on the broadcast, his first like 5 seasons in the NBA, he only shot 9 threes. And I think he's up to like 115 just this season. So Sixers couldn't stop him. But overall, they played really good defense. I'm not mad at the loss. Like I said, they weren't going to win against the Bucks. What else can we talk? Oh, Tobias Harris. Like I said, 6 points last night going into the fourth quarter. Got his 15 in the fourth when the game was essentially over because Giannis got every call. Sixers couldn't get a stop. Game's essentially over. Tobias hit like a lucky 3 that it was pure luck. Just the luck of Tobias Harris is ridiculous. But again, he's out there last night just going through the motions, not doing anything. He is just like, oh, well, I'm out here. And you can completely see in his mind. I said I wasn't going to talk about Tobias Harris or give any thoughts, but I have to talk about him because he's still on the team. My thoughts about like just getting completely frustrated with him is over. Like, he's whatever. He is what he is. We're just going to talk about a game by game basis. Last night, barely gave any effort, was deferring a lot, looked like he was scared of the Bucks defense. The last couple of points he had, like I said, were completely luck. They were all running down. The shot clock was running down, so he had to do something with it. When he does get the ball last night, he's a black hole. He's trying to ISO when he shouldn't ISO. I think every point he had last night came off of just being in rhythm. I think Maxey drove one time. He kicked it out to Tobias, who was just standing there. He finally shot a spot up three, made it. He has to figure out different ways to score without having to ISO. And I think it's struggling because his brain and his body they just work so slow together. It was one play where Mo Bamba inbounded the ball, then back cut and was wide open on the back cut, and Tobias just like stared at him. And Mo Bamba was like, yo. Tobias was like, I gotcha. I'm sorry. It's like, bro, his decision making is just too slow. And it's like the Sixers of old and the Sixers of last season where they all just process things entirely too slow. And then this year you've seen a change with the new guard with Kyle Lowry, campaign, the athleticism and quick decision making of Nicholas Batum, Kelly Oubre. There's a switch, but Tobias is still like stuck in that. It's just taking him entirely too long to process what's happening in the game, and it's slowing him down. And it's honestly hurting the Sixers, and they need him to just be regular bad. If he's regular bad Tobias, they will win the games that they need to win versus the lesser teams. But if he is this bad, the Sixers might not win another game unless Maxey or somebody else just goes off. And that's the problem that we're having. I know, like I said earlier, Keith Pompey mentioned they're missing James Harden. What's really going on is they just missed Joel Embiid, bro. He was the best basketball player on the planet before he got hurt. He covers up so many things for the Sixers on offense and defense. So without him, they're going to look like a bottom 5 team. That's just what it is. Maxey being a smaller guard, trying to progress into the role of a number one, which he had just been throttled into, and he's trying to figure it out as he goes. They're just not going to win many games. They're not a good enough team to win games like this. They're a team centered and built around Joel Embiid. And when they have Joel Embiid, they are very good. When they do not have Joel Embiid, they will not be good. It's very simple. They just miss the best basketball on a player on the planet right now. So when they get him back, they will be very good. I spoke about my thoughts on him coming back. If he is only going to be back a week or two before the season is over, the week the season is over, I don't think he's going to have enough time to get in conditioning shape. I don't think he's going to have enough time to get in a rhythm for them to really make a splash in the playoffs, especially if they play in the play-in. Hopefully, I guess he comes back. I don't want him coming back if that's the case. If he can come back a little bit sooner and the knee is fully healthy and they're not in the play-in and they're in the 6th seed, I'm all for it. But, that's my thoughts on Joel and also the game last night. Like I said, they are becoming this. You can see it last night. They were really focused on defense, really gritty, really diving on for loose balls, getting in the passing lanes, collapsing on defense, making the Bucks shoot a bunch of threes, making Jay Crowder shoot threes. Who else? It was somebody else. They were just like fourth. They was like, all right, we can live. Like we'll just live with that as long as we stop Giannis and Dame. Like Brook Lopez. I mean, he's a good 3-point shooter, but they were just forcing the ball out of Dame and trying to force the ball out of Giannis' hands. So I like the defense last night. I hope they can continue because if they play like this, if they play like they played last night with a little bit more offense against a lesser team, they'll be able to beat the lesser teams easy. So I'm not really worried. But yeah, man, it's my thoughts on the game last night, Sixers versus Bucks. We'll be back with who do they play next? They play on probably Saturday. They play the Hornets next, so that should be a win. They are currently 36-30 and the 7th seed in the East. They are, don't tell me. I think they are a game back from the Pacers for the 6th seed. The Pacers are falling off. The Magic jumps to the 5th seed. Dope. But yeah, man. We will see them Saturday versus the Hornets, and I will be back with another. I don't know. I need to put the poll on Twitter if I want to do post game, like right after the game, or the next day with these videos. Aaron Donald retired, so he will be in the Hall of Fame in 5 years with Jason Kelsey. Really dope to see. Shout out to Aaron Donald on the 49ers are signing Devondre Campbell. I'm upset. Anyway. Yeah, man. Sorry about that. But yeah, man, we're out. Appreciate y'all for listening. This will be on YouTube. Like I said, like, subscribe, comment, follow on Instagram, do everything. Like I said, if you did get your Tyrese Maxey t-shirt giveaway, please post that, tag me, and I will retweet it on the timeline.